Qam Yasharahla. First and foremost, I let to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Wakar Kodash, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai. Alright, I belong this to the apostles and their list of great millstone. Peace and salutation to you, Qam, just pushing the truth in love and sincerity and in charity. Okay, this is the brother Yashawan from the GMS Bahamas camp, Baraka with another lesson. Okay, this lesson is entitled "The Spirit of the Lord was in the stones that David used." Okay, the Spirit of the Lord was in the stones that David used to kill Goliath. Okay, now I have here, it's a screenshot what I take from Google. Why did David use stones, smooth stones? Okay, as you see here, they say the final smooth stone that David picked up was the stone of the Holy Spirit. He not only had faith, was obedient, performed service, and prayed, but he had the Spirit of the Lord with him because of his faith, obedience, service, and prayer in the Spirit, and prayer and the Spirit of the Lord was with him. Okay, so the Spirit of the Lord was with David and was also in the stones, okay, that David used. All right, now this year, okay, which stone is better, rock? Which stone is better, rock or stone? Okay, now we know the stone automatically come out of the rock. Okay, but there's a difference. All right, a stone is much smaller than a rock, meaning that it's movable. Okay, movable. Unlike rock, the stone is typically hard and it is not metallic. The smaller cut stones are ideal building materials because they are strong, durable, and able to withstand the elements. Okay, just to give you some idea. All right, a stone is easier to move. It is also movable. Okay, unlike a rock. All right, now David, just picture it. Okay, David get 5 stones out of the brook, basically out of the lake. Okay, out of the stream. 5 smooth stones to put in his slingshot. Now, you can't put a big rock in the slingshot. Okay, and if you get some little small pieces of rock, okay, they still wouldn't work. Okay, because the stone is smoother and is harder. Okay, I just say strong and durable and could withstand the elements, whereas a piece of rock the size of the stone would not be able to withstand the elements, and also it wouldn't be strong enough to do the damages what a stone can do. Okay, it would probably, like if David slang the shot at Goliath, that's if he would have used a rock small like that, the rock would probably just break up in pieces. Okay, whereas the stone is more smoother and harder and durable and stronger till it's sunk into the forehead of Goliath. Okay, we can prove all that. All right. Now, this is another thing. Two stones of iron. Almost all sedimentary rocks are iron bearing in the sense of mud rocks, sandstones and carbonates typically have an iron content of several percent. Nevertheless, sedimentary rocks in which the proportion of iron exceeds 15% are separately characterized as iron rich. Okay, so those stones also had iron in it. All right. Now let's jump right into this precept. Okay. 1 Samuel 17 and verse 40. Okay. When you get a chance, you could just read out the full story. Okay. But I just can pick out pieces of this. All right. This is 1 Samuel 17 and 40. And he took his staff in his hand, David, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in a shepherd's bag which he had, even in a scrip, and his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine. Okay, and let me just select. Let me just look up this word stone in the blue letter. Okay, look this word up, stone in the blue letter. Oh, it's a lock, yeah. Turn the Wi-Fi off from out being disturbing. Okay. All right. Now, stones.
Strong's H68. Evan.
Evan, right? Stone, large or small. Common stone in natural state. Stone as material of tablets. Marble, hued stones. Precious stone. Stone of fire. Stones containing metal or tool for work or weapon. You see that? So this was a weapon that the Most High chose for David to use to take out Goliath. Okay, so there's certain strategies you could use in battles. There's certain strategies you can use to take down whatsoever you basically want to take down. Okay, let's say if you want to demolish a building, there's a certain strategy you can use to demolish a building. Okay, all right. So the Most High Spirit is with David, and his spirit was in the stone. All right. It say, let me just go down here. Just go down here to the just right here. It says strength, firmness, solidity. Okay. All right. Petrified with terror, perverse, hard heart. You see that? The metaphor. Petrified with terror. Okay. So the Most High chose the right weapon to deal with Goliath. All right. Now, this one article. Okay, this ain't really the article, but this is from Rich Birch Stone. Okay, probably a company. Say the difference between rock and stone, which is best. Many people use the term rock and stone interchangeably. There's a difference between rock and stone, but which one is best for construction? You would see building stone is construction project, and here is why. What is the difference between a rock and a stone? Let's begin. What is the difference between a stone and a rock? By defining rocks. Technically, a rock is a mineral mass containing more than one mineral, and you will find it under the surface of the earth. They are formed by pressure and range in hardness. Okay, so range in hardness from 1 to 10, something to that effect. Okay, or you could use that as an example. Okay, all right. So let's say a 10 is the hardest. all right, or the 10 is the weakest. A 5 is between the weak and hard, and the 1 is the hardest. Okay? Say, rocks are large and often created from the formation of the earth, such as cliffs. Basically, you cannot move a rock because its mass is so large. They're talking about a whole big piece of rock. Okay? There's a difference. There are different types of rock. These are igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks. Okay? So the igneous rocks are created when the magma cools and then move towards the surface of the earth as it hardens. Okay, metamorphic rocks began as one type of rock, but then transform as heat and pressure is applied to it. Okay, to begins as one type of rock. Okay, then it's transformed. All right, from basically soft to hard or whatever have you. Sedimentary rocks are formed as particles from fossils, mineral deposit, and other rocks comes together in bodies of water. Okay, those set that basically form together. Okay, they soft, then they come together, and then they harden. But then you can't use it to say like to uh to break up something. Okay, because that rock will break up itself. Just if you take that rock, right, and you say you throw that on a piece of iron, that'll break right up. That won't dent that iron or nothing. Okay, now let's use this piece right here and say, what's the difference? What is the difference between a rock and a stone? A stone is what type, Salat? A stone is what you typically pick up and hold. Typically pick up and hold. Oklahoma building stone and Oklahoma store veneer are both examples of natural stone. A stone is much smaller than a rock, meaning that it is movable. Unlike rock, the stone is typically hard and it is not metallic. The smaller cut stones are ideal building materials because they are strong, durable, and able to withstand the elements. Keep in mind building materials. Okay, all right. Basically, it could withstand whatever in this world. Shows you that the stone is very strong, and and David knew that. Okay, David knew the stone, the job what the stone could have done. Okay, so David wasn't no light man. He wasn't no light young man at this time. Okay, he knew what he was dealing with. Plus, he trusts in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, all right. This stone also represent the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, because it's like the cornerstone, which is Yahweh Shai. Okay, which is ideal for building. Okay, let's uh let's jump into this precept here. Uh, we go to Ephesians chapter 2. Okay, verse 20. All right, it reads, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahushua himself being the chief cornerstone, in whom all the building fitly formed together groweth unto an holy temple of the Lord, in whom ye also are builded together for an habitation of the Most High through the Spirit. Okay, and this is going into basically the building of the body. Okay, as we seen, Yahweh Shai is the chief cornerstone of the building. All right, just like this say, yeah, the smaller the smaller cut stones are ideal building material because why? It is strong, it is durable, and could withstand the elements. So guess what? Aren't this word strong? Aren't this word durable? Aren't this word could withstand the elements? Hmm? The scriptures say, man, like, yeah, heaven and earth will pass away, but my words shall what? Oh, Matthew 24 and 35. Okay? Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Because my word is what? Strong, is durable, and could stand the elements. Last forever. It's like that stone. Okay? Let's get 1 Peter. Alright? 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 6. Okay? Wherefore, also it is contained in the scripture, behold, I lay in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect, precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. All right? Just like I say, and this word is like a stone, a chief cornerstone at that as well, which is strong, which is durable, which is precious. Huh? Let's look up this word precious. I think I have that already here. Okay, it's a lot. Let's look up this word precious. Okay, right here. Precious. Of great value, not to be wasted or treated carelessly. Okay, so this word we have is precious, boy. Yahushua is the word and is also the chief cornerstone of the building, huh? Which is durable, which is strong. Huh? Oh, let's go to Isaiah. Okay, Isaiah 28 and verse 16. Check this. Therefore, thus said Yahweh power, behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Okay? So the Mosai said that he lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, one that is strong and durable, that could withstand anything, a precious cornerstone of one of what? Great value. Okay, like I read it earlier. One of a great value, not to be wasted or treated carelessly. Okay? A sure foundation. Alright? He that believeth shall not make haste. So the Spirit of the Lord was with David when he took down Goliath. The Spirit of the Lord was in that stone because the stone is strong. The stone is durable. Okay? And could withstand anything. And to add to that, right? When David took the stone and added to put it in his slingshot, and when he sling it, right, the stone and smooth. So it's swiftly. Okay, so when he shot it, it went through swiftly like a bullet. Okay, so fast till it cut the wind. And when it hit Goliath, it sunk into his forehead. Now, if that was a piece of rock you put in your sling, okay, because you know a rock ain't smooth and it ain't typically wrong. Okay, so when they're going through the air would help break up the rock. You see, and then when they hit Goliath, okay, the rock would basically smashed in pieces because it ain't that strong. Okay? Alright? So when David went to Goliath, he went with the name of the Lord. He went with the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay? 1 Samuel 17 and 45. I can read on down. Then David said to the Philistine, Thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of Yahweh of hosts, and the power of armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will Yahweh deliver thee into my hands, and I will smite thee, and will take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcasses of the hosts of the Philistine this day unto the fowls of the air, and all the beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a power in Israel. And all this assembly shall know that Yahweh saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is Yahweh's, and he will give you into our hands. And it came to pass, when the Philistine arose and came and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted and ran towards the army to meet the Philistine. So the Philistine, he came up, and David ran towards him. And David put his hand in his bag, and took thence a stone, which is durable, which is strong, okay, and slung it, and smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon his face to the earth. Okay, so when David took the stone, okay, which is smooth, and when he shot it, it went swiftly cutting the air with the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in it. Okay, and then when I hit him, it sunk into his forehead as like how a bullet would. Okay, so David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him. But there was no sword in David's hand. You see that? So David didn't use a sword to take down Goliath. Therefore David ran and stood upon the Philistine, and took his sword, the Philistine now, and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith. And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled. And the men of Israel and of Judah arose and shouted and pursued the Philistine until thou come to the valley and to the gates of Ekron, and Salah. And the wounded of the Philistines fell down by the way of Shaharim, even unto Gath and unto Ekron. And the children of Israel returned from chasing after the Philistine, and they spoiled their tents. Okay, so yeah, man. All right. So we see David took down uh, Goliath with a slingshot, which had a stone that is strong, that is durable, and had the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in it. Okay. All right. Uh, let's jump right into this last precept. All right, just to show you that the Most High Spirit is in all things. Okay. Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things. All right. So yeah, man. So with that, I hope you was edified. I would like to give all praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahasham Makakodas, Shalom, and the Bad Babal.